But we start things off with KREM 2's Regan Gallo, who spoke to a couple passengers hurt in the crash. We do want to give you a warning. Some of these images may be disturbing. Regan?
Both passengers I spoke with say they remember thinking this isn't the normal routine or route, but didn't think much of it at the time, assuming there was a reason for the change. Now, both passengers are recovering from a range of injuries.
For James McShane of Cheney, an ordinary Sunday routine came to a literal halt.
It was just a normal Sunday for us.
Pam Davis, McShane's wife, tells me her husband rides Spokane Transit Authority buses several times a week.
Called me and I could tell right away something was wrong. And the first thing he says is, "Don't panic."
She spoke on his behalf because she says his injuries made it hard for him to talk. She describes James was sitting on the lower level of the bus before the crash, and the impact was so hard he slammed into plexiglass.
And then they hit, and he didn't know, where he was, what had happened.
James suffered several injuries from the crash.
A police officer came in to give us the report and told us that James was actually hurt the worst. James, being the sweetheart he is, he said he was glad to know that he was the worst injured because at least he knew he was going to be okay eventually.
Pam says James has been living with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease known as COPD and neuropathy for years, conditions that make walking difficult.
I was terrified. The first thing I could think of is, did his legs get further injured?
She tells me she was especially relieved to learn James's legs were okay. Another passenger, Megan Hubbs, was riding on the upper level of the bus. Hubbs is a student at Eastern Washington University and rides the bus a couple times a month. She describes in an email to me, the plastic ceiling panel came down and smacked me almost straight on in the face. My nose started bleeding pretty bad, all over my clothes and face. The front window also sent glass flying back at all of us. Megan tells me she depends on the STA routes for transportation and will still ride in the future, but notes not on the upper level. Pam, James's wife, tells me he is still undecided.
Now, this is still an active investigation that we will continue to cover. We do also know the CEO of Spokane Transit Authority, Carl Otterstrom, did visit James McShane in the hospital. I'm reporting in the newsroom, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.